Good night, fellow punters. The clock on the wall is 9:30 on Saturday night. Back at base, not going out. Depending on the weather tomorrow, might go to Limerick for the Munster Grand National. It's something I've attended a good bit the last few years. Missed last year. I must be on tour. But sending them off tomorrow. I'm back on the road again Monday. In Dublin Monday morning for 9 a.m. So picking up a 19-seater tomorrow night. So I might do that coming home from Limerick. It depends. I know what the weather is like, which is putting me off a couple of horses because I like one for soft and one for good ground for the Grand National. Both 7-year-olds that have a good record in the race. So I'll explain it as we go. Today I missed the first. Well, I was listening to them on the phone. We got left Innis at exactly 11:15. Supposed to be 11:30, but there was a switch, and it was the only time they were on time all week. We left on the dot 11:15 for a 10-3 flight because the boarding gates, or the gate was boarding gate was closing at 1:50, an hour before takeoff, which was a bit unusual because normally it's a half an hour. But they were in great form this morning. It was the chirpiest I've seen them, and they were all hugs and handshakes and whatever. And I got a nice few pound as a tip off them. I didn't know which way that might go, but it went to my advantage. And they intend to come back again, and they're asking me would I be around to drive them around the country. I think she's 2 or 3 years away from retirement, the woman, and she wants to go back to that pub in Sligo for her retirement party. So there we go. So I was coming up the road, I left around 12, the airport, and I knew I wouldn't make it for the 120, so I pulled in at the toll, watched that on the Galway to Dublin motorway, and I pulled in for the second race. Where did I put in for that? It was before I got to the yard with the bus anyway. So I was only watching them on the phone. What a harsh Kyprios is. Let me see. I have the results here. That's what is 7th win this year is 5th Group 1, 9th Group 1 in total. Absolutely brilliant. I thought we had a chance of the TriCast in coming up the stretch. Airy a bit disappointing, and there was a good bit of late money for it. Sweet William ran a cracker, got a message from a fella after say, how come you deserted? You're without the favourite betting on Sweet William. I thought, well, I was thinking it might be third. And Trawlerman was third, that won it last year. I just thought the ground might be a little bit off for him. But Kyprios, an absolute star, one of my favourite horses of all time. And he takes it in a stride so well. He wasn't even ears pricked, not even knocked a stir out of him there to see him in the latter end. So here, look at it Saturday night. We might have a look at it. What else will we be at when you're watching racing?
Now from his stable companion, but Sweet William is trying to challenge, and within a length of the favourite. They're followed by Trawlerman and Burnett Road. It's Kyprios by 2 lengths to Sweet William. They run down to the final furlong. Kyprios is keeping up the gallop as only he can. Sweet William trying very hard, but Kyprios is unbeatable. He's unassailable. It's Kyprios pulling away from Sweet William up towards the line, and Kyprios, the king of the stayers.
That's the third time this year that Sweet William has seen his ass in front of him. Kyprios remind me to me as someone that everyone would know going to school. There's always one great athlete in the class or in the school that can run at 800 metres or 1600 metres or 5,000 or 10,000. It just comes so natural to them. He's absolutely gifted. We could watch him all day. I thought we were going to win this one. It was 12s last night. It was into 8.5 swing along. Kind of Blue won it. Ran a great race swing along, I must say. And it was actually coming back at the death. A few more strides and we might have got up. Fillies and Mares race. Actually, the one of O'Brien's that I looked at first was Wingspan on account of the breeding, because Mummy had won this before, Hydrangea, by Dubawi. But I thought Content was the forum horse, but it ran a bit rugged and ragged. And then we had our little star. We definitely have to watch this. What a battler. The two of them today, they made my day, Kyprios and Sharian winning. Particularly Sharian. It looked like Factor Cheval was coming
to Sharon, he's barely moved on the grey. He kicks on. Factor Cheval coming through. Tamfana is battling away. He still hasn't moved. Now he shakes up Sharon. And what will he find? Factor Cheval is challenging really hard, getting alongside Sharon and Factor Cheval as they race inside the final furlong. Sharon is suddenly all out. He finds extra. Sharon beating off Factor Cheval, and the champion miler Sharon wins on Champions Day in the Queen Elizabeth II Stakes. Factor Cheval ran a great race in second. Tamfar.
Special horse. That's the twice he was beaten, he could have won, like, and they're all Group 1s. Delighted. Tamfana ran well for a 3-year-old filly. But Factor Cheval second, wasn't that second last year as well? It was. But Sharian, one more run perhaps in Japan, but it's going to be retired at the end of the year. Such a pity. And then in this race, so the real turn up for the books, tipped up this winner in Longchamp and had 100 on it on the tote, and I backed it with the bookies, and it came 5th. What to do today? Come out and won. Calandigan got into bother as any French jockey normally does. Economics was very disappointing. Came there to win his race and just said boo. Carry the one. Latam, a former horse of ours, big price, loves that sort of ground. Witch Hunter left at the start and got bothered coming up the stretch as well. Finished 3rd. That was a 25 to 1. Terrible run from Days of Our Lives. It wasn't one of his life at all. So all told, champions abound. Been plenty today. We had a couple of them that we have followed all year, so that was good to see. Before I go on to tomorrow, something I meant to show. I was asked a few weeks ago the question, where was the 3rd highest viewership coming from? It is from the United States of America. That was in the last 28 days. There was 117,000 views. The top country is the UK. People are surprised at that. I think there's about 56% from the UK on the right. Ireland second, about 34 or 35%. The United States, 0.7. And Spain, 0.5. Trinidad and Tobago, South Africa, Sri Lanka, Australia, Barbados, India. There used to be a few more from India and the Philippines, Jersey, Egypt, Sweden, Thailand, Canada, Jamaica, France and Indonesia. France probably was the time we're over for the Prix de l'Arc. So the answer to the question was the United States. It used to be up about 1%, 0.7 in the last 28 days. That's because the viewership has went up from Ireland and the UK. Thanks to everybody all around the world for tuning in. A few for tomorrow. We go to the Durham National tomorrow in Sedgefield, 3 miles 5. Good Time Johnny was entered and declared, but as a reserve for the Munster National. rated 132, £4 higher in England than it is in Ireland. It's 128. This is the former winner of the Pertims, wasn't it? Beat Salvador Ziggy. That was off 142. And that was last year. Now, they've been plotting this. It was down to run in the Kerry National, but on account of the ground, I said they took it out. It's better and better ground. When it won in Cheltenham, even though it was a bit softer, but the better the ground, I think. But it can take cuts, so it doesn't mind. But got an educational sort of a tip around the stole the last time. Has won over 3 miles. It's a 4-1 shot. I know where this 12-1. I'd love to get a bit of that. I backed at 4-1 earlier there with 365. Dripsy Moon, that used to be in Ireland. Tommy Bowe, what a character he is. 1, 2, 3 out of his last 5. 144. They'll send it over that tomorrow. So I presume it's running there. Bit of money for now, forged into 130. Sean Quinlan. They have a good strike rate when they go across the pond. They don't go over like to test out the air and to see if they have any custard or anything. So that's a bet. The Kerry National, that is a dilemma for me. The Munster National. The stats in this is favourite a 7-year-old. And I had 2 in mind. One for soft. If you look at the 7-year-old one at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the last 6 years. The big dog was the only one that was on soft ground. So 7-year-old, and normally 11-4. There was 3 of them there, 9-12, 9-12, 9-11. But there's not one like that this year. But I thought 2. One of them that we went with before, the Thecompanysergeant, that has to have good ground. The last time it ran in Roscommon, it did go soft that day. I didn't realise there was so much rain coming. But if the ground is good yield in places, I'd back that one. You can see that when it won on good. And the step up and trip I haven't a problem with. It battled really well to win in Galway. That was over 2-2. This is its first time in a handicap as well. But over Horantzou was rated 134. See, when it won there, it was on good ground, or that novice hurl good. If it was soft ground, I don't know about this Storm, because there's an awful lot of football matches, and Cliffs of Moher is closed tomorrow, and Kylemore Abbey in Mayo is closed tomorrow on account of this Storm. Now, if it's going to be that bad, is the rain going to land in Limerick, is the thing. If it was soft, the horse was second in the Kerry National, but it's a 7-year-old as well, Horantzou D, but it's carrying 11 stone 7, but that likes soft ground. First time in a handicap was his last run as well, which was second to Florian Porter. But nothing sort of got into the race that day. See, when it won there, soft. When it won here, it was soft to heavy. Good ground there in Roscommon to second. Good ground to third. Yielding it fell. Back to soft ground in the handicap. So it went up £4, didn't it, for that run? Yeah, £4. It's the 7-2 fav. If it was soft, I'd back him. If it was good ground, I'd back what do you call it? The other Companysergeant. Percival de Galway is a 7-year-old as well. Bit disappointing in his last couple of runs. I don't think it won since the day we backed it. And it hosed up in Leopardstown. It's been a bit disappointing since. Chemical Energy, that's one went for in the Kerry National. That needs good ground as well. But it's just it's an 8-year-old carrying 11-7. Panda Boy is in it, but it has needed its first run the last few years. So, and it did run last year, early on in the year, but it was first run last year. It was 4th of 5 to Manella Window in that race that was ran the other day. The year before it was 4th of 6. So it needs to run sort of all the time, and it could be gearing up for something at Christmas or maybe across the water in Cheltenham, one of them handicaps. There's a listed hurdle race in Kempton, 4 o'clock. Rubad won this last year, but Nichols isn't going that well. I think he's deliberately just trying to wait out this, to make sure they're firing all cylinders at Christmas and later in the year. 1 out of 17 in the last 14 days. Normally Nichols, when he goes on fire, he rattles them in. I thought Casa on the Mento for an inform yard of Nigel Twiston Davis and Sammy T in the bike. This one in Ferryhouse, or Punchestown. It has won 1, 2, 4 out of 5 races over hurdles for an inform yard. And if you look at the ratings, it's carrying 10-11. It's £12 behind in ratings, but it's only £1 wrong. So if that has improved, and won very well in Punchestown, won by a couple of lengths, and there's a long way back to the third. That was enlisted. 12 lengths back to the third. But hasn't ran since to see what the formers were. At Leopardstown tomorrow, there's a good handicap race at mile 4. I thought Masoun at 5 to 1. I've backed earlier because they're paying 4 places. I think it's a bet to nothing, as I say. An improving sort, but if you see the horses it was behind since they went handicapping, Chantilly, Slorican, Vivienne did that one the other day, Lord Church, Sumtree Law, it beat a Percu, that one the other day, didn't it? Or was a bet on the line? Bet on the line. Yeah, but the step up in trip shouldn't suit the way it finished here. It's hidden at the back this day here in
Quarter Carlsberg with coming to
Come on. That's it.
challenge, and just pick it up as put your hands together. After them is Masoun with the noseband, and Madalinga, Solar Breeze waiting for an out, then Tachos, aye, Rotolo and Augusta Lumiere, it's put your hands together, challenge on the other side by Masoun, and up the rail is Solar Breeze, then Tachos, French Company from a long way back, putting in a good finish, ahead of Nahori, but it is Masoun and Bencon, gone away, repeats handicap wins from Solar Breeze, French Company, and Slurricane and Nahori and Tachos next.
I like the style of that win, especially the way he angles his head. So that is a each way bet if you get 5 to 1. And that's about it. So bash the bookies, over and out.